So I don't know about you, Eric, but Indy 500 qualification stressed me out this weekend while I was already not feeling great. We'll talk.
So much fun to watch.
We'll talk about that. Maybe we might talk a little bit about North Wilkesboro. That was a snooze fest. And coming up, hyping our big weekend this weekend. This is FR Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flo.
Eric Richardson.
Oh boy, Indy. I think the theme of Indy this weekend was you were either great or you were terrible. There was like no middle ground there.
Yeah, that middle was very small.
And yeah, it's like you were either battling for the fast 12 or you were on the verge of missing, going to bump day.
Is about that what 17 through 25 might be okay. But you had a lot of cars going for that top 12, and there were a lot of cars trying to not be in the bottom four.
Well, and then you look at David Malukas, who they had a camera follow him around, and it was so good. Like it was just so up and down for him, and he squeaked in, and then he got bumped, and then with like 20 minutes to go, he came out and just pulled a 232 something out of his butt, and secured his spot. So
and I think he put it in what, like 20th?
Yeah, like 23rd, 24th. Like I think he started ahead of Marco, actually, who was not happy this weekend, but
he looked better in practice, at least on Monday. He was in the top 10 again.
Yeah. All I can say is at least you are not RLL. Holy crap. That was I don't know if I've seen a multi-car team have that bad of a qualification weekend since that year that, like, what was that, 94, 95, when none of Penske's cars made the field.
That was part of the split too.
Yeah. I mean, that, none of Penske's, after coming out and just dominating 94, they came out in 95 and none of them made the field. And poor Graham Rahal. Holy crap. What a last week for him. Bumped out at literally the last second by
you got
Jack
a feel
Harvey.
For that, but how did Harvey's car do that?
I have no idea.
They all talked about you got to go in, cool him down. I watched his first run, he missed, and I doing something. I see him. Is this a replay? No, he's
I thought they were. Yeah, what? Like I'm just like, he went right back out there again, and I don't know how he pulled that off.
But by what, like 0.006 miles per hour or something?
Something crazy like that. I mean, it was just barely beat him. And then like they showed Graham and he just gave a absolutely classy interview and just did so much for him, just how he took that. Like you couldn't help but feel devastated for him after that. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I mean, a couple years ago, he was a bad pit stop and a tire falling off his car away from probably winning the race.
That was actually right in front of me. I was at that race. You see him go by, and
there goes the tire. And
what is going on?
It just, yeah. I mean, like, and then his teammate gets in an accident on Monday with Stephen Wilson, breaks his back.
I didn't think that wreck was that bad at first. The way he spun around, and he did go nose first into the wall, and he's already 6'4", so there's not a lot of space in that car.
No, not for someone that tall. But
then they give an update and saying that he's going to get transported for further evaluation.
I mean, at least he gave the thumbs up, which you're like, okay, like, I mean, we already saw his brother die in a absolute freak accident. Like, it's like, no, we don't want him. Like, we obviously don't want anybody to die, but it's just like,
the on-track medical doctor came out and said, like, he's okay, but further evaluations are needed.
And he's out of the race.
Yep.
And speculation on who will be
taking. Want to see him get better soon.
Yeah, definitely. But then you have like, okay, so who's going to be driving that car? and be like, well, what if they give Graham? It's like, well, he's a Honda guy. That's a Chevy. Honda may not like that. And then, you speculated JR Hildebrand happened to
Yeah,
be
he's been
in the
around
area.
Indy.
He was in the race last year. Like it's not like he's been out of the car
11 or
forever.
12 straight starts.
Yeah, Charlie Kimball's probably somewhere around the Indy area at that time. I mean, there's experienced drivers that they could call, and
Yeah, I think you had mentioned Sage Karam.
Sage Karam was another name that was being thrown around, and then all of a sudden, Graham Rahal is named the driver of the 24. And honestly, like they called him, asked if he would do it, and he's like, "Well, I mean, I would love to, but I can't. I'm not the
He
guy to."
defaulted pretty quick to Bobby to talk with
And
the business partners and
Honda
sponsors and everything.
Honda said go for it. I mean, with that interview he gave on Sunday, I think that had a lot to do why they were so willing. There's all this attention on him right now, just how classy he was in handling that, and just showed that raw human emotion of defeat. And I mean, he earned so much respect and probably gained a lot of fans on Sunday. I mean, that was like you have to work this out. And Honda, like, okay, yeah, you're just going to be driving the competitor's engine. Thinking you can let it slide for a race.
Well, and the fun part too, there was a lot of talk if he would try to buy out one of his teammates or take over their car, and he's like, no, you have to earn it.
Yeah.
We didn't get it.
But he gets he got a special session where he gets to run a practice before carb day in the 24.
Well, and I think that's got to be for safety, make sure that it's fitting and he's comfortable. As you don't want somebody in an ill-fitting car or get into a crash that he's not designed for and get hurt.
Right, absolutely. So
they had to do that.
Yeah, and I think they said that the 44 with Catherine Legge will be getting a special session because they're rebuilding a car. It's like I don't think rebuilding a car and taking it out in carb day for the first time is
those backup cars are already getting turned over for Detroit here next weekend.
Yeah, that's not a well, I mean at least in her case, she's not a regular. It's not like she has to worry about it. I think she's just doing the 500 and then she'll be back in her IMSA ride again soon. But man, what a crazy week.
That was just a wild crash too, of how slow they were going and then checking up into turn one. And even at that point, Marco was talking about how slow the pace was.
Yeah.
So there were some multiple factors that led into that crash, and I haven't heard much from the spotters' take of if they were calling it down or if it was purely on driver trying to watch for it. But she had downshifted a couple times and I think was braking, and at those speeds, if you brake and trying to turn and miss stuff, you're putting yourself into the wall.
Right.
Just a wild, really Saturday and Sunday into Monday is a wild almost 48 hours.
So on the other hand, though, we've talked about the bottom half of the field. Let's go back up to the top half, and kind of a surprise. I mean, if you've been watching, this isn't a surprise to you, but going into the month, I don't think we really expected this, but the 14 and Ferrucci, man, he was hauling out there this weekend.
Yeah, he man, AJ Foyt, they got a car right there.
They apparently they invested a pretty good chunk of money into their car development because AJ's team has not been. I mean, I don't know how much AJ does directly with the team anymore. He's got to be in his late 80s at this point. But that team has not really been competitive in quite a while. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh look, we've got a in the Fast Six, you've got Arrow McLaren up there, a couple of cars, you've got you've got Ferrucci and AJ's car, you've got an Ed Carpenter with VK. It was good. It was not, and there were no Penske's in the top six.
Yeah, willpower's the best at 12.
I mean, they look good in practice on Monday, but yeah, the qualification was not a good weekend for the Penske cars.
Actually, another team that did not have a good Saturday was Andretti.
Yeah, yes,
They were rather disappointing.
Marco.
You, you hear his interview after, he was
It's like
not happy.
throwing stuff at the wall, and I don't think he wanted to say stuff, but he knew he was on TV. So, um, man, it's just yeah. Andretti had a bad weekend. RLL had an awful weekend. Um,
Well, I think we got a shout out to Ben Peterson,
yes,
only rookie to make top 12.
yes. Now you had Dale Coyne with Malukas, and then Stingray Robb snuck in there on bump day.
He had a shot on Saturday to put all 4 Rahal cars in the Sunday qualifier, but
Could you
he didn't have
imagine?
the speed. That would have been insane to have all
Oh
4.
man,
McLaren is looking strong.
they are. It's that Penske Ganassi dominance is
It could be challenged.
it's starting to level off a little bit. I mean, they're still
Ward wasn't happy on Monday though.
Who
He was
wasn't?
having Pato Ward was having some issues on Monday.
Mr. P in the car 3 times a year.
If you have a chance, check out Arrow McLaren. There are 4 drivers on social media. They have red and green flags. The question to him was, do you pee in the car? 3 red flags.
Yes. Yes, like 3 times a year. And they're like, what? You're gross.
I forget who it was. Like, I think it might have been TK. He's like, yeah, and I've tried. I just can't.
Yeah, he's like, I've tried. He goes, how do you? And then my favorite part of the video is like, how do you do that when you're strapped in like that? It's like, it's like
Those IndyCar drivers have so much fun. I just want to just hang out with them for a weekend. I think it'd be so cool.
I forget who it was. One of the NASCAR drivers. I want to say it was Chris Buescher. There was a video that was put on his social media a while back where a fan, when he's signing autographs, and a fan asked him just randomly, "Do you ever pee when you're driving?" And he just like kind of stops. He looks at the guy. He goes, "No." He goes, "What do you do?" He goes, "I hold it like an adult." But that's the thing too. It's like you hear about race car drivers, and it's like, okay, you're driving, you're in a car for 4+ hours, sometimes 3+ hours.
6 hours for the 600 last
Yeah,
year.
you're 6 hours. It's like that's a long time, especially you got to keep drinking, otherwise you're gonna die of dehydration and
Yeah, you gotta
thirst.
think
And
these cars get hot and you gotta take on fluids.
yeah, I mean, like I would love an honest survey of how often that happens. I'm sure there's drivers that try and can't for whatever reason. I'm just I've driven an Indy car one time, an old Indy car, and they strap you in, and I'm only in the car for like 15 minutes. I mean, that was obviously never a concern that I had to go, but I'm just like, it did occur to me. It's like, how would you do that? Like, I even if you wanted to, I think I'm on the TK side here. I don't think you could if you wanted to.
Not under green flag.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's been cases where drivers have pooped themselves in certain situations. There's a reason why they call it code brown or brown flag.
That's why I don't wear a white race suit.
Oh, I never understand why Mercedes has white race suits every other year, it seems like, or just about. Oh dear. Well, that was not anticipated topic for today.
Well,
North
one more
Wilkesboro.
shout out for Indy. TK, last Indy
Yeah,
500.
yeah.
He was maybe on the emotional side Saturday when he thought he had maybe run qualifying for the last time, but ended up going out again and put himself in the top 12.
Good for him.
Got to run again Sunday, starting 9th. Yeah, North Wilkesboro. I fell asleep at the end.
I really didn't. I mean, I was deathly ill this weekend. But I turned it on to catch a bit at the end. It's like Kyle Larson ran away with it. Somebody
So
got. I mean, the only other highlight of the race weekend is it sounds like somebody managed to get onto Bubba Wallace's radio frequency and say some not so things we won't repeat here, and that's currently under
I'm not
investigation.
a fan of Bubba Wallace, but you don't do that. Come on, do better,
Like,
people.
what are you doing? Like, come on. I mean, it's just get the McDonald's car here.
No place in.
No, absolutely not.
There's no place.
It's just awful. But we had a good truck race on Saturday.
Again, won by Kyle Larson.
Won by Kyle. Yeah, Kyle Larson sweeps the weekend.
I was watching that. There's caution. One caution came out at like lap 18. He was one of a handful of cars that took tires, and they're like, oh, he's starting at the back of the field. And then like 10 laps later, Kyle Larson, 5th place. What? He just drove past people. Nobody else could do anything outside. That's where he passed half the field.
They put out a sped up video on NASCAR's social media. It's like, here's Kyle Larson going from last place to first place in like 1 minute. And it's like, I mean, it's just unreal how good his car was this weekend.
Yeah, just they were talking in the first half before the caution that if they had just run it, he would have lapped the entire field.
And we'd have ourselves another Max Verstappen on our hands. I don't really have much else to say about it. I mean, it's cool to see North Wilkesboro back. Cool track. Love what they did with the track. Place probably needs to be repaved now, and I think it's going to be, actually.
There may be some talk of it going to a dirt track. I really hope not.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, it'd be better to turn that into dirt than Bristol.
I don't like the Bristol dirt race. I mean, I don't.
It was a fun one-off. Now that we've done it, 3 times?
Yeah.
Stop it. Do better, NASCAR.
I just the cups. I mean, the trucks on the dirt. Okay, but like, you don't need to make a whole weekend out of it.
No, and not when you're throwing a caution flag every 10 laps.
Those cars are just not made for dirt, and they're going to turn North Wilkesboro into a dirt track. Like, they want to do a points race there. No, please don't. Just repave the track.
They need to stop getting to all these novelty races and let's get back to racing.
But
keep the green flag through the stage. Stop throwing cautions.
What's hilarious though, with everyone's like, let's get back to North Wilkesboro. We go back to North Wilkesboro. Everyone's bored out of their mind. It's like, now we've got a car problem. Yeah, that short track package on those next gens, nah.
It's not good.
Nah. It needs
other than intermediate tracks, this car is not the greatest.
I don't think
the door opening. I think I have a cat coming in. It's not a ghost. I promise you that.
I was about to say, do you have a cat?
Yep. Still have a cat.
Still have a
I
cat.
Have a dog too.
Well, that's got to be interesting household. I always see that's hilarious when people have both a dog and a cat, because my dogs, there's a cat, an outdoor cat in our neighborhood that likes to basically come into everybody's yard. It's very, very nice, very social cat. And the one time it hopped off the wall into our backyard, because we have we live in Arizona. We have those like cinder block, 6 foot tall walls. And we were out back the one night and the cat sees us and hops in and comes over to say hello. Very, very social cat. Didn't realize my dog was about 15 feet away. Oh boy. Oh boy, man, that cat took off in a hurry. And we didn't see it around for a little while. Yeah, anyway.
Overall, they do pretty good. They sleep together a lot.
That's great. That is crazy. So North Wilkesboro, we got Charlotte this weekend.
Got a
We
busy
have
race weekend.
it's a busy Sunday coming up here. We got
Much
Monaco,
one of my favorite days of the year.
Is my favorite day of the year. Monaco will be probably a snooze fest.
It depends who gets pole.
I forget. I saw somebody on social
faster.
media said they had a dream that Red Bull had dual DNFs at Monaco, and they woke up and realized it was just a dream. It's like, oh man.
We'll see what happens there. It's probably gonna be Red Bull 1-2, Fernando 3, and
Probably just a boring
then
race.
see if Ferrari finishes.
Do you really think Formula One would take Monaco off the calendar? They haven't had a good Monaco race in some time now.
The answer is they should, but the counter would be, would you take the Indy 500 off the Indy schedule?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's history. You like
those of you that maybe don't know Formula One, that's the equivalent.
Yeah, or taking the Daytona 500 off of off the NASCAR schedule. Like you don't do that, but the race sucks. Like it's
the cars don't fit the track anymore.
No, they do not. And it's just honestly, we have not had. I mean, we've had some good racing, but we have not had a good race itself this year.
There's been highlights.
Literally. And it's usually like, oh, look, here's someone battling for 10th. Yeah. Oh, they might get into the points. And then we had the mess up in Australia that.
Yeah, that's been the most exciting race.
Just because of that moment. Yeah. I mean, that's like, if you ask me what the highlight of this year was, I would say the disastrous restart at Australia.
But really, it's the only race is from 8th on down. There's no race up front.
I guess the next question is, there's been rumors going, well, not even rumors. There have been, we'll say, public threats that Nick DeVries could lose his ride already. I mean, he's been in there, what are we, 5-6 races into the calendar?
He hasn't done anything.
How much time do you give him to adjust before you pull the plug? Because he's been, I mean, all the rookies have been bad this year. I mean, Piastri's just been slightly less bad, but I don't know how much of that is because the McLarens are, in general, have not been good.
I think you almost have to take out the first 7 spots and start counting at 8th. How many 8, 9, 10 finishes and even 11th? I think that's where you have to start it, because those front 7, they're not gonna come close to touching him at all this year. No one's gonna touch Red Bull.
Nope. I mean, Red Bull is the only thing they have to battle is themselves. Do you have teammate meltdown? You start running into mechanical problems later in the year. I mean, that's really the only thing that will stop them this year.
And really take away the top 8. If Stroll just runs a clean race, he's going to be 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And Alonso's trying to help him mid-race. He's watching
watch it on TV.
He's watching the cameras while he's racing because he's so far behind and so far ahead.
Oh, man.
So I don't know if it's necessarily fair to the rookies, but I mean, you got to at least be fighting for that 9th, 10th, 11th place, right?
I mean, the only other anything of interest is Lewis Hamilton's contract negotiations, and it sounds like he's not walking away yet. I mean, he's in his late 30s like ourselves, but
is he what, a year younger than we are? Or is he our age?
I think he's like a January of 85. I think he's slightly older than us.
I gotta look it up here. Lewis Hamilton he was born January of 1985. You are correct.
Boom!
Point for DJ.
Yeah! I don't know why I know that. And he's knighted. Yes, he's extremely wealthy, extremely talented, and he has been knighted. All things neither of us have done. or have had happen to us. I mean, we can't get knighted anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, he's done a lot for the sport. It's really cool.
For sure. So this weekend we've got Garage Talk Live Race Day. We're gonna kick off at 6 a.m. Pacific time for Monaco.
Yeah, I'll be up at some point.
Yep, 6. We'll kick it off 6
Coffee
a.m.
in hand.
Yep, yeah. Hopefully I can have coffee. I don't know if I did. I cleaned out my Indy shot glass, so it's no longer has crystallized Malort at the
If you're able, still Malort shotting the green flag every race, right?
No, I'm not. I might be able to use the excuse of the medication I'm taking right now is no alcohol, unfortunately. So this sucks. Can't have a beer while watching Indy. What's going on?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, whatever. So 6 a.m. Monaco, 6 a.m. Pacific Monaco, then it's like 9:45 is Indy.
Yep.
And then I might have to go to a birthday party Sunday afternoon.
You probably won't miss much.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll be on for Indy, we'll be on for Monaco at least some of the time. We'll see how things are going. And then who knows, depending on what's going on with the Coke 600.
Oh, is it really a 6 p.m. start?
That's gonna be a late night.
I'm gonna be up till midnight watching that thing.
And I remember too with when I moved here to Arizona, we moved over Memorial Day weekend. And so I listened to the 500 driving through Missouri and Oklahoma. And I got pulled into the hotel in Oklahoma City and then watched the Coke 600 from the hotel. And I cannot remember for the life of me who won that year.
What year was it?
16. Wasn't Rosenquist? No,
he hasn't won.
Rosenquist won, didn't he?
Nope. 2016 was. Oh, I was there. That's right. That was the 100th running. Alex Rossi.
Yes. Yep. Oh, that's right.
One on field mileage.
Simon Pagenaud won in 2019. That's what I was thinking of.
Meyer Shank did not have a great day either.
They did not.
They've been kind of off pace all year. It's unfortunate.
Takuma Sato has a chance to join the 3 times club this weekend. I don't know how much of a chance he has, but I don't think Keelio will become a 5-timer this weekend. I mean, stranger things have happened, but
gonna have to come from row 7. That's gonna be very difficult. These cars just do not like dirty air.
They do not.
And it's hard to close unless you can somehow get inside the bubble.
Oh, man. Do you believe that Scott Dixon has only won the race 1 time, and it was in 2008, which is the last time I attended the race in person?
Yeah, he's had some bad luck. He was on track to have won it last year, but then caught speeding on pit road.
Man, yeah, you're just like, oh, you were running at a flawless day, and then you botch it in the pit.
Yeah, I saw it right in front of like, ooh, he looks quick. You could tell. It's funny that close on speed, but when it's right there in front of you, see the differences.
Another thing I forgot is I completely forgot that Dario Franchitti was a 3-time winner.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas for the 2012 race, and I went and I put $5 down on Dario to win the race, and then like lap 5, he's in the pit getting a new wing, and I almost ripped the ticket off right then and there, and then he wins. I'm like, yeah, I did it. I was just like, man, I should have put more money on that. But hey, my $5 turned into like 23 or something like that.
Hey,
So that,
take it and run.
you know what?
Something.
It's like I don't care about the money. It's the fact that I went and bet on the Indy 500 and won in Las Vegas. That's my crowning achievement of sports betting in Las Vegas. So
If you
that's
see it, there's proof. I have a cat walking behind me. It was not a ghost. So if anybody
I
had
did.
doubts that I was lying, go back and watch. There was a cat.
Hey, and real quick, man, we were watching our analytics last week. Holy crap! Thank you for our. Apparently, we have a bit of a fan base in Singapore.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
So, I mean, I know one person from Singapore, and I haven't talked to that person in quite a while. I don't know if they're if they have anything to do with that. I might have to text them and ask, like, are you listening to this? Because I don't know where these listeners came from, but I mean, I don't care. 2 weeks ago we had 650. Well, as of right this second, 653 plays of that episode, and they're all legit. They're not. I looked them up. They're perfectly legit listens. I can't believe that. I mean, we've had really good analytics, but that blew my mind. But thank you to our fans in Singapore. Maybe we'll do a someday we'll do a live remote for the Singapore Grand Prix, and our adoring fans can in Singapore can cheer us on. Wouldn't that be the wildest thing? Is that you try to build up a little bit of a fan base, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you're huge in Singapore.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
It's a pretty cool place. I never, I've not been myself, but I wouldn't mind doing a live remote from Singapore. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, if you have any drivers that are up and coming out there, let us know. We'll look into them and
I mean, they love their
follow them on.
they love Formula One out there.
Formula One will be there.
In the fall,
midway through the season?
I think it's closer to October. Yeah, it's towards the end, as they're doing their shuffle around the world as
they're back and forth all over the place.
Yeah, before they come back to the U.S. for the cringiest Grand Prix of all time in Las Vegas.
For their green initiatives too.
I just saw a cat tail across the back of your screen.
Yeah, we'll have a special guest appearance. It is a cat. I think she's 13, 14 years old now.
No kidding.
Been around for a while.
I have a 15-year-old dog. I don't know. I mean, I've had him for almost 14 years. I don't know how old he was when I adopted him. He was a little bit more than a puppy, but I assume he's about 15 or so. Can't hear, can barely see. Grumpy, lazy, sleeps on the couch until he decides to jump down and just pee on the floor next to the couch and then jump back up and go back to sleep.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Old pets, it happens.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
I mean, he's otherwise in good health. There's no reason to have that discussion yet. But
no. As long as they have quality of life, they're good.
I mean, you can't put a dog down for being a jerk. I mean,
he's a
jerk. I mean, he's a jerk. Like that
would be.
He's a grumpy old man.
So, how about Wednesday Night Dash this week?
I don't want to talk about it.
There's a reason.
All I know is that
left-hand peanut butter milk stout.
I said at the beginning of this, I'm like, I can't even drink. I know I'm gonna. Because I was deathly ill. I got no practice in. Of course, it's probably the most difficult track we've been to. That does not look difficult on the surface. And I completed maybe one clean lap in practice. I'm like, this is going to be a total disaster. And it was.
Nah, I'll be honest. I'm ready for ARCA.
Yeah, we're going to finalize the schedule here very, very soon. And we're going to publish that. Make some changes. I think we've already said it, so this is nothing new. We're going to go to a 10 race season, and we're going to go 10 races next year back in the ARCA cars. So we should have some of our people that sat out this season back for the summer and fall. Trying to get that group back up to 20. We're so close with into the next gen season, and then we had a bit of a setback going to the GT3. Weren't sure what kind of reaction we are going to get. But
Well,
hey, we found
we're
Ian.
still
I mean,
figuring.
that had a great week.
Congrats to Ian.
Yeah,
got
Ian
his
Miller.
first Wednesday Night Dash win.
He lives near my brother, actually, which is kind of crazy. Small world.
Yeah, not too far from me.
So, hey, you know what? It's awesome. Have you approached him about the endurance team?
I have. He's interested in. Just got him added into the Discord. So
nice.
We'll see what it goes.
Awesome. So, I mean, we got ourselves a. We might have to. I mean, I'm obviously nowhere close to being ready to participate.
I'm on the JV team. I'm not ready for varsity
yet. I'm ready for the freshman team. I'm the freshman.
I probably belong there too.
I'm on the freshman team as a senior.
Yep, I'm there. Right
it just, you get the pity, you get suited up for varsity to sit on the end of the bench on your senior night, just as a sheer pity. That's about how it's going for me. I've decided that after this season's over, I'm going to start working on, I don't know if I'm going to do the GR86 or the Mazda. I just, the problem with the rookie leagues and the Mazdas, it's just some of these rookie leagues are so toxic on iRacing. That's part of the reason why I haven't done the IR04. Super, super toxic out there, and just takes the fun out of it. So that's why I like league racing. It's like, there's been some moments at times, but you got more control over it. And
at least when you get out of the rookie and run the Class D, it gets a little better.
Until you go to ARCA.
ARCA's ARCA.
Yeah. I mean, there's reason why ARCA Break Weekly exists as a thing.
It's funny. The ARCA races I've done haven't been anywhere near ARCA Breaks Weekly. Like, it paints a bad picture of the ARCA series.
Oh, it certainly does. It scared me away from participating. But
the races I've done, though, have actually been, for the most part, cleaner than other series I've been in. The Xfinity B class and ARCA are probably the two of the cleaner leagues that I've done.
There's there's some on that kind of a note. There's been some beef in the iRacing forum about Dallara Dash. Nobody likes the IR01 for starters.
No.
And
I've not even raced it and I don't like it.
It's not free. Like, Dallara Dash is a unranked rookie league with a paid car, and now the schedule is filled up with mostly paid tracks. And I get it. This is the fallout of the IndyCar divorce. But if you're going to do something like that, you have to make the IR01 free. Because you looked at Dallara Dash, and on a typical weekend, you'd have 25 people. Sometimes you'd have multiple splits. There's maybe been a handful of times where I've seen more than 10 people in a split all season. Like, it's just not going well. Like, you can't make a unranked free rookie league with a paid car on a bunch of paid tracks.
No,
that is the quickest way to kill it. And there's been some riots in the forum about it. It's like, you got to put the DW12 back. It's like, I get it. Like, there's the divorce. You can't broadcast it, but it's like, whatever. Like,
you got Dallara Dash rookie race. Like, a big race is what, 25 laps on a mile and a half?
Yeah. And when they were able to use Indianapolis, like, it was 10 laps. I mean, you're out there 15 minutes. And then there's the Monza Oval, which I ran that race one time.
I have yet to race that or the iRacing Super Speedway. I do not own those.
I have done both. And iRacing Super Speedway would be so dangerous in real life. If you fall, like, it's plate racing with like 5 wide on a 3-mile long track. Like it's like a supersized Talladega that's extra wide. And if you fall away from the pack that you're by yourself, you're easily 10 miles an hour slower than the pack. And if you catch that single car, I mean, you should have plenty of space to move around, but stuff happens. It's just it's terrible. Like it's really terrible. I actually finished second in a race there once on a carb cup. And I just fell behind from the leader, who just happened to hang with a lapped pack and pull away. But I also finished second on a Monza oval race, and I had my Logitech, my G20, which has like, the force on your wheels like 2 Newton meters. This thing over here go up to 15, and on the 2 meter Newton meter wheel, I felt like I had just used a jackhammer for like 20 minutes. Like I stopped, and for like a good half hour afterwards, I'm just like, I still feel the shake. And I went out there once in a practice, and I ended up not going into the race. And I turned it down a little bit. I'm like, I'll turn it down to like 9. And even then, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to break my wrist here. And I thought I did break my wrist. And I'm like, okay. So I actually have a profile on the racing wheel that's just called Monza. And I actually turned it all the way down to like 3 Newton meters, because anything more than that, and you're just like, if you've ever been in a car and had a flat tire, have you ever had a flat tire before? Been in a car with a flat tire?
Oh yeah.
And you're just like bouncing everywhere. It's like that, but you're the one holding on to the wheel. Like it's like, it's just terrible.
No, I think iRacing helped me. I was actually on an interstate and had a tire blow out the side. Just went flat immediately. I'm like, whoops. I'm like, this is easy. I've done this before in iRacing.
You wait for your spotter, like, stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low, stay low.
Meatball, come in next lap.
Yeah.
OnStar, you have a meatball flag. Please come in.
Have you seen the guy on TikTok and Instagram who he's driving a Prius, and his wife is on the phone in the Prius, and his wife is like, box, 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 box. And he's like, no,
Yeah.
it's too early. It's too early. It's like, box, box, exit 12 at Smith Street. Box, box. No. He goes,
I have seen that one, I think. Or at least something similar.
You are half a second behind the Mazda 3.
What do we have coming up? Behind
Sundays.
closed doors, we're going to Gateway.
Yeah. Oh, Gateway next week. I was so frustrated when I shut down the stream after like 15 minutes tonight. And I'm like, all right, well, thanks for watching. This sucked. And I'm like, behind closed doors, I don't know where they're at. Eric will be on Tuesday. He'll be on the win stream next Wednesday from Mid-Ohio. And
yeah, we're at Gateway on the 30th. Then we have a week off before we go to Auto Club.
Just remember on Gateway, you can run the high line. You can run the high line once you get up, get a little bit of heat on those tires.
I like Gateway. It's a fun track. I'm really looking forward to Auto Club in Vegas, though. Those, I think, are going to be pretty exciting races that we can't broadcast, similar to Michigan. Then we have Mid-Ohio coming up for Wednesday Night Dash.
And Rudskigen. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't know which is correct.
And then finish up with Daytona.
Daytona, which I will not be in attendance for. So,
are you running Long Beach with us?
I was going to, but I will actually be right next to Long Beach the week you're running Long Beach. So I'll just go sit out at the fountain, and they're like, I'm at the fountain.
Take a picture of the fountain, be like, I'll be cheering you guys on.
Yeah, where are you? It's fake.
I don't see you.
Where are you guys? Where's the walls? Anyway, oh, yeah, we got some people signed up for giveaways. I'm seeing some followers. Got about a month, a little over a month to sign up for this autograph for Keith Stenhouse Jr. 124 scale diecast. Please tell me. Okay, I thought I heard something rattling, and they're like, "No, what? No,
Whoops.
I broke the giveaway." No, it's fine. I was gonna say I've kept it away from the kids. Yeah, my kids like My kids like diecast cars a lot. They play with them quite a bit, and they're like, "We want to play with this one." I'm like, "No, you don't. Nope, you're not touching this one. Not a toy, kids. It looks like a toy, but it's not a toy." So sign up, frracingonline.com/contest. Follow us on our social media and our streaming platforms, and follow this podcast or the podcast form of this show, and you get bonus entries. I mean, that's as easy as it gets. So do it. Sign up. I want to give this away to somebody.
Yeah, me too.
So thanks for watching at FR Racing Online. Oh, and be sure to check out our blog post, my experience updating to Windows 11. Should you do it? Head over right now, frracingonline.com.
We'll see you live throughout the day on Sunday.
Take care. We'll see you.
Have a great Memorial weekend.